Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently holding for further traffic clearance.
Check out Kristen's new website, magicaljourneysvacations.com, for all your vacation needs. Disney, Universal, cruise lines, and more.
Thank you for traveling with us.
magicaljourneysvacations.com. Have her book your magical vacation today.
Eric sounds like all of a sudden he's checking out the Alien. What is it? The new Aliens movie with James Cameron?
Oh, yeah. Alien Covenant.
Alien Covenant. I had some friends check it out over the weekend using our Fandango link, and they seem to have liked the film. It's hard to beat an original. It's really hard to beat an original. Kristen has yet to see Alien. She has seen Aliens with Bill Paxton. Game over, man. Game over. But she hasn't seen the original.
That one is the one movie out of all of it that you really need to see.
Aliens?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Aliens is a great standalone film. You don't need to have seen Alien to enjoy Aliens. However, Alien is a really great film. Especially since, Kristen likes horror, and there's nothing like a film like Alien to bring about the horror and sci-fi genre together, which is awesome. I'm just saying. It's some word for food for thought. This is WDW After Dark, and welcome to the program. It's your weekly look into the world of Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, including the parks, film, pop culture, Disney food, travel, vacations, all that good stuff. And we're here for yet another roundtable panel discussion. So thank you so much for liking and subscribing to our feed on YouTube, because we're simulcasting this on YouTube, Stitcher Radio for the podcast, iTunes, and of course on the We Be Geeks network of podcast and geeky podcasts. Be sure to check out webegeeks.net for all of the great podcasts hosted there. My name is Aljon Go, one of your co-hosts, joined by Kristen and Eric, and we're going to be talking about Pandora, the world of Avatar. And it's going to be a great in-depth show, because Kristen and I have been able to check out the preview for Pandora, and Eric has been able to check out all of the great social media that has been spewed out over all the social media platforms for Pandora.
I like the way you said it, spewed out.
Well, if you were there, you might have seen a little something there that was very interesting in terms of attractions there at Pandora. Very odd one that kind of leaves a lot of people shaking their heads, scratching their heads. But having said that, let's first talk about great ways that you can support our program. First of all, I implore you watch the show every single week. We bring it to you for free. The least you can do is tell your friends about us. So spread the word using social media and tag us at WDW After Dark on social media, Facebook, Twitter. Like and subscribe to our shows on all those different platforms, and leave us, please, those 5-star reviews. Every little review helps on iTunes, so please go ahead and do that. Let us know what you thought about the show in recent weeks past, or if you have a question for us, let us know as well. And you can leave us those comments as well on our YouTube channel. We'd appreciate that. Another great way for you to check out and support our show would be using our links for Amazon. And Amazon has got so many great things that you might want to check out. In fact, right now, if you go to wdwafterdark.com, you'll be able to see ways that you can gift not only yourself or a friend an Amazon Echo, as well as the gift of Amazon Prime. So Amazon Prime is a great service because you get free shipping on a lot of Amazon Prime items. You get the video service. You have the streaming music service that comes in addition to becoming an Amazon Prime member. So click the gift. It says right there on wdwafterdark.com, give the gift of Prime. Click on that banner and give it to yourself, give it to your friend, give it to your parents, give it to your kids. It's a great way for you to support our show. And every time you do that and click on those links, Amazon helps us out by kicking a little tippage in our tip jar. And last but not least, Kristen at magicaljourneysvacations.com. You are planning your trip to the Disney parks. Maybe you're going to Universal for Halloween Horror Nights this fall. Maybe you're taking a cruise on any cruise line or going to Adventures by Disney. We would hope that you have get an opportunity to have Kristen book your trip, because every single bit helps out And Kristen has got so much knowledge. Kristen, once again, why should people book with you?
Because I will help them find the best deal. And
Right.
if a better deal comes available after they've booked, I'll apply the discount.
There you go. So save time and money by booking with Kristen at magicaljourneysvacations.com. And you can see her link there on our page, WDWafterdark.com. So click on that and off you go to enjoy your next great magical journey to the Disney parks. And now on with the show.
WDW After Dark, now loading.
WDW After Dark. WDW After Dark. Live and uncensored. Starring Jeff Davis, Aljon Kristen Hetzel, and Eric Allen. WDW After Dark is live and uncensored. Call the hotline at 410-98-WDW-AD. Follow us on Facebook at WDW After Dark Webcast and Twitter at WDW After Dark. Headline news, Disney food, video games, Marvel and Star Wars. WDW After Dark. Live and uncensored. And now prepare yourself.
Thank you so much for tuning
WDW
in. Once again,
After
we're
Dark.
Talking Heads. Disney fans are here. My name is Aljon Go, lifelong Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars fan, and I'm joined by our great panel of hosts, Mr. Eric Allen, mighty Marvel geek. I had to do that again, as I do all the
Getting
time.
better.
Also, thank you. Also, the host of the Sorcom Review on Sorcerer Radio. Eric, been a busy week for Disney, hasn't it?
A little something called Pandora, maybe. Maybe you've heard of it. It has tie into some old movie by some has-been director. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's Avatar. You've probably never heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, between that and Guardians of the Galaxy opening up and so many other things at the Disney parks from coast to coast, and what is it, the 25th anniversary of Disneyland Paris opening up? That's a lot. That's a lot going on for the Disney parks. Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are very busy men running around the globe, as it were. So between that, we also have a lot of food news, and our resident foodie is Miss Kristen from diningatdisney.com. Hello, Kristen.
Hello.
Now, you were able to sample some of the food from Pandora, and we're going to talk about that, maybe show some pictures. I'm curious to find out your thoughts on the food and the food venues versus what we were promised initially. So we'll get to that momentarily.
WDW After Dark presents Disney Discussion, a roundtable panel.
Once again, we are going to be talking about Pandora this week in lieu of our typical Disney headline news segment. So let's go straight into it. The World of Pandora. Disney Parks actually showed off the World of Avatar dedication. James Cameron was in there, as well as Bob Iger, to usher in the opening of Pandora, the World of Avatar at Disney's Animal Kingdom. And holy smokes, there was a lot of people out there. There was a bunch of tribal drums beating. The World of Avatar gives guests a chance to explore the interactive world filled with bioluminescent rainforest, floating mountains, surprising flora. And here, guests can experience the Avatar Flight of Passage, an attraction that sends guests flying over Pandora on a Banshee, and the Navi River Journey, a family-friendly boat ride that travels down the mystical river. So let's talk about this. Kristen and I were able to do a preview for Disney pass holders, Walt Disney World pass holders, over the past week before the park actually opened. And I'll go ahead and shoot it over to Kristen. Shall we tackle first the food, or shall we give overall impressions first?
I think we should give overall impressions first and then leave food for later.
Okay, fair enough. Eric, before we get into some of our impressions being there firsthand, you were able to maybe see some of what the public had been posting about it and maybe experience some of the video, and maybe you've seen some attraction ride-throughs and such. What are your thoughts on the whole Pandora?
Well, if you remember when the news first broke that they were going to do this, and we were talking about it on an earlier episode of After Dark, way back in the moons of history, we said from the outset, it has the potential to be fantastic. But the thing is, you'd have to separate the movie Avatar from the world Pandora. And if you could do that, then you've got a chance, because basically, as much as I loved the look of Avatar, the fact of the matter is the story was, for the most part, Pocahontas in space. And I figured, even then, if you can't separate that out, people are just going to tune it out. But by all accounts, it looks like they have been able to do exactly that. Now, I figure if anybody could do it, of course, it would be Disney. So just from what I have seen through the social media and the ride-through videos and the videos that have been shared, I think it looks amazing. I mean, it's not often that we're going to see new entire lands open up at a Disney theme park, especially one it's not something that we're used to seeing in Disney movies. Does that, you understand me on that one?
Oh, sure.
I mean, with New Fantasyland, basically you had stuff that people knew. People had, they were familiar with the Seven Dwarfs and with the Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. That's why they put all that stuff in there. Cars Land, of course, it's Radiator Springs. It's stuff that people, all Disney fans, are familiar with. This was something, it was totally going outside that box. This is something that a lot of Disney fans were not familiar with. And some fans just say, well, it doesn't belong in Animal Kingdom because it's not real animals. I'm kind of like, well, I'm sorry, did you miss the dragon that's on the sign? It's something that I commend them for doing, because they are reaching outside of New Fantasyland. They're reaching outside of their, for lack of a better word, outside their normal formula. And everything I've seen has just been, it's been phenomenal. You've got the especially at night where everything lights up. You've got the Navi River Journey. You've got the Rite of Passage, or Flight of Passage, excuse me. And it's just so unlike what we have seen come out of Disney in recent years.
Right.
So I'm excited for this. I mean, this is actually something that I want to go down and see. If I see nothing else, I want to see this.
Right.
That's before Star Wars Land comes along, of course.
Right. Totally. Interesting stuff. Now, Kristen.
Yes.
We experienced this firsthand. So, what are your thoughts on your initial thoughts on Pandora?
Well,
First impression.
I have to start out with the fact that D23 Expo in the past, they have told us what we should expect to see and experience from Pandora. And it's just, it's not what they said. It was, they had their, what they said was a life-size, model. What do they call those? You know what I'm talking about.
Animatronic.
No, the models that are supposed to be to scale model. That's it. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Well, you're talking about the actual concepts model.
Yeah, I'm talking about the expo.
Yes.
Okay. So it appeared to be much larger than this. I had expected it to be an expansion of Camp Mini Mickey. However, what they did is put it in its footprint already. So it's significantly smaller than what I had expected. I had expected this to be like 3-4 times larger than it is. So that was disappointing to me to see how small it was. It's really pretty. I will say that. It is beautiful. We didn't get to see it at night. We left there, I guess it was about 8:30. And the floor was starting to light up. So we got to see a little bit of it, but not like the full, get to fully experience that. There's only one animatronic inside. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the boat.
The Nabi River.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was kind of disappointed in that. I expected there to be more than an animatronic in it. The animatronic's cool, but there's only one. Flights of Passage I thought was really cool. It has the longest queue I have ever seen at Disney. It goes and it goes, and you think, oh, we're almost there. Oh, no, you're about halfway there. You keep going and going. Go we there yet? Nope. You're just entering another cool section because they did some really cool stuff in the queue. The queue's amazing with all the stuff in it, but it is so long. Such a long queue. Like you think not Spaceship Earth, Space Mountain has a long walking queue. It's got nothing on this one.
I think Indiana Jones and Disneyland has a really long queue.
Yeah,
Eric,
that is.
Don't you remember that? That queue is freakishly long, and I'd be like curious. That. Yeah, it's like twice the size. I think. I would think it's pretty long.
Did that on purpose because they figured the lines would be so long for it.
Well, and I believe that they'd be correct because it is the 8-ticket attraction.
E-ticket.
Did I say E-ticket? E-ticket. Yeah. My goodness me. It's the second time I've done that. There goes my Disney cred, folks.
You had one job.
But that attraction was cool. I really did enjoy that. That was fun. I mean, it's kind of, like I said, it's Soarin' on steroids. That's the best way to explain that experience.
Those people watching right now, you can see some footage of the ride attraction that Inside the Magic had captured, and I've actually posted some of the ride queue myself there on WDW Tiki Room as we streamed live, which was a lot of fun. But I definitely like Ricky's video up here as they show the inside of the queue and Joe Rohde leading a group of bloggers through the queue. The queue is amazing for the rite of the Flight of Passage. I keep on wanting to say Eric's rite of passage, which is funny because it really is the rite of passage in the movie Avatar. Which Kristen actually had seen the other night.
Yeah, Eric, I finally saw it.
You'd be proud of her. She sat through 3 hours of Cameron.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's one way to take one for the team. I'm telling you.
She really did. She definitely took one for the team doing this. But
The gift
what are
shop was the other thing that I was surprised with, because they had made it sound that, well, one of the things they had said is you will be able to get things like I just forgot the Navi, like Navi jewelry and that kind of stuff. And really, you walked into the gift shop and you've got like the banshees you can buy, and that's cool. It's Disney's equivalent, I would say, to it's their answer to Wizarding World of Harry Potter's wands. It's $49 for one of those, so they're not cheap. You've got T-shirts. You can build your own avatar, so that's kind of cool, but not what I expected for a Disney gift shop. It just didn't have anywhere near as much stuff and as much Navi type stuff as what they made it sound like it was going to have.
Do you think that might be something that comes later?
I don't know, but to me, you had 7 years to get that.
I agree with you.
That's where I have an issue. Is we've been waiting for this for 7 years, and to go to D23 and speak to Imagineers and all the hype that they gave this, and then to go, I just felt let down. I was like, where's the rest of it? Like, yeah, it's nice, but again, if you talk to an Imagineer and you heard about it from them, a few years ago, you were probably one of the people disappointed when you got there. If you didn't hear any of that stuff from the Disney Imagineers' mouth about what they were going to do with it and how amazing it was going to be, you're going to walk into it and be like, this is incredible, I'm sure. But after what, we saw and heard, I was really excited. I was like, okay, first of all, I didn't want this to come to Disney because this just isn't something that interests me. And then seeing all the stuff at D23 and being like, oh, this is going to be really cool. And then going and being like, I think they forgot part of it. So.
It sounds to me then that they ran into some budgetary overruns.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it feels like.
I mean, it's like, oh, we've got these grandiose plans. It's going to be a much larger footprint. Oh, wait, no, sorry. We ran out of money with that one animatronic. So we're just going to shrink back to, we're giving the pocket Pandora.
Right. So I'm showing some footage here of our live stream. It is a little choppy. I apologize.
They do have this plant that looks like an eggplant, and if you rub it, he squirts water.
That's good times. That's good times right there.
Uh-huh.
That's what the budget went to. The squirting eggplant.
Squirting eggplant.
The squirting eggplant.
In space.
In space. Right. So I think Kristen hit the nail on the head right there when it came down to it. I think because we were blown up by Disney and Joe Rohde and so many other people about how magnificent this is going to be, including the mouth of James Cameron himself. It did give us a feeling that it was going to be a lot bigger than it actually was. And it's not like there isn't room for maybe building on down the road, because my understanding is the sequels to Avatar are in pre-production as we speak. So I don't know when they actually are going to start filming. I believe that probably will be sometime next year, but and don't quote me on that.
Then do you think this may have been, rather than budgetary overrun issues, they're pacing it because they don't want to release any kind of attraction tie-ins to the sequels until the sequels actually hit the theaters?
Maybe, but wouldn't it be prudent, Eric, of them to say that this is phase one, and depending on, and maybe they're just being cautious, pending the popularity of these upcoming movies, this is, this will grow. This has the ability to grow from this. And for a partnership, okay, that was started way before Disney purchased Lucasfilm, by the way, 7 years ago. Hard to believe, but for them to be in as deep as they have been with James Cameron and Lightstorm Entertainment, his production company, you would have thought that they would have just said, no, this is, we have high expectations for Avatar, and that more attractions or more things will be released or will come up from this property down the road. But right now, we're in phase 1.
Well, there's
and we know.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. And I was just going to go. I was going to say, and we know how sometimes when you say at Disney, this is going to be coming down the road, that may not necessarily actually happen. I mean, case in point, let's look at the Russian pavilion at Epcot, right?
Yeah. Now, I would just kind of like point out the dangers of them saying phase 1, or we have a lot of future plans for it. I mentioned the dragon earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling this up here just to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's okay. Now, back in 2002, there was a movie that came out called Reign of Fire. It was basically an apocalypse movie with dragons.
I remember. I've seen it.
And that it came out as it was under Touchstone's banner, which means it was under Disney's umbrella. And there was a lot of discussion that this movie would have a attraction in Animal Kingdom that was dragon themed. And the dragons in all of the architecture and motifs would seem to back that up. Reign of Fire flopped at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, no, that pretty much scraps any kind of Reign of Fire tie-in. Now, Mission to Mars. You remember that one?
Yep.
With Gary Sinise?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to try and tell me that Mission Space was not originally designed as a Mission to Mars tie-in?
Right.
But when Mission to Mars really didn't do all that well at the box office either, well, that's where they kind of strike that. So I think what you're seeing, if it's not a budgetary overrun that causes them to condense their grand master plan for it, it's them hedging their bets. Because Avatar, very popular movie, very successful movie. People are flocking to this land because of the world in Avatar. But we come out with Avatar 2 and Avatar 3, and they tank at the box office. People aren't going to want to come to see that. It's like if Empire Strikes Back had tanked at the box office, we wouldn't be getting to Star Wars land.
Thank goodness it didn't.
See, that's what I'm saying. I think that's still an unknown quantity. And if I'm Disney and we have these plans on the back burner to expand Pandora when the sequels come out, I don't know that I wouldn't keep that kind of close to the vest.
Sure. And I'm not saying that they even have plans to do so. However, Kristen touched on it, saying that she was wanting more, or that she thought it was going to be bigger. And I felt the same way. I believe that we were promised maybe an actual sit-down restaurant instead of the quick service restaurant that we got. Is that correct, Kristen, at D23?
I thought that they had said there was going to be a table service.
Mm-hmm. And I thought there was. Yeah.
Tony said the same thing. So when he said that, I was like, okay, that means it's not just in my head. That I think I heard that because he said the same thing.
Right. And I was also thinking that this land, if you will, was actually going to have at least 3 attractions and not just 2. And I'm kind of shocked that it was only 2. But having said that, in terms of what I thought, wow, I was blown away by the flight. That's just a really great attraction. It was a lot of fun. The queue was great. It looked like the movie. Kristen can attest to it because she just saw it. When you go in and you see the Avatar in the test tube, if you will, when you go in and you see the laboratory, everything about it is exactly as you would see in the film. The pre-show was great. You go in, you get scanned, you sit down on the attraction. And early on, there was a lot of reports that not all body shapes were going to be able to ride this attraction because of limitations in terms of how you're, I guess, kind of strapped in, if you will. You're really not strapped in, but you're kind of braced for the type of simulated motion that you're going to be doing in this attraction. But I thought the attraction was great. Is it among the best Disney has to offer? I would say so. I mean, it's taken on its own merit. Man, I want to ride it again. My mouth was open. I think there were very little times in my life when I could go into a Disney attraction and come out and during the attraction itself have a look of bewilderment, like, wow, this is cool, you know? And so I would definitely try to get in to see that and experience that attraction again and again. Are there things that could have been better? Yeah, of course. But man, it was great. So I want to tell people this automatically, that this e-ticket attraction is definitely worth getting a fast pass for immediately, as fast as you can get one. And I was a little let down, though, by the Navi River. That kind of dark boat ride had, video screens and projections and this one really awesome animatronic. But to me, it just felt a little flat to me. I felt like the scenes could have had a little bit more oomph. And when I can ride the Pirates of the Caribbean, it's one of my must-ride attractions in Magic Kingdom and all of Disney, no matter what park I'm in the world, and Pirates of the Caribbean has to be on that list. I love that attraction. There's a story going on from scene to scene. There's always something new and exciting around every corner, and I look and I see the animatronics and I see the story and I feel like I'm in that world. I didn't really feel that. And maybe it's just me. Now, one of our co-hosts that is not here said he absolutely loved it. Jeff seems to have loved the attraction, and I don't know if he got caught up in the moment of being there at a new land. I can tell you this, Kristen, the excitement that I felt before we went in was palpable. I felt it. I think I told Kristen when we were sitting out there with our friend Chris and we're out there, Jason as well. We're sitting out there at the where were we at? We were at the Tiffin's. We're at Tiffin's and we're just hanging out. And I said, you know what? It's not every day that Disney opens up a new land, Eric, as you said. It's not every day that a new land opens. I was so excited about it. I was raring to go. I was excited and I walked in and I had this feeling of like, oh, this is cool. I'm live streaming. It looks great. It really does. But it's in the footprint of Camp Mini Mickey, and every time you see advertisements for Pandora, they focus on the floating mountains. They focus on a certain point of view where it looks huge and expansive, and I didn't get that. It was very small. It was just very small, and maybe because we did see it during its shakedown period, its trial run, its soft opening, its preview period, that we're not able to experience all the different things and interactive elements, whether it's there's supposed to be the Navi is supposed to be running around there. Is it not? There's supposed to be some Navi there in the park, right? Running around. I don't know that to be true right now. But
I don't know that to be true right now either.
Mm-hmm.
That I haven't seen any videos of it.
Either have I.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody posting about seeing the Navi.
Yeah, I mean, and if you've seen
Now
the
they
movie,
do have the explorers there for the little kids, and you can get the little sticker for your book. I think there's 2 there, right?
well, at the outset there was some wilderness explorers there, but I don't know if they should stay there. It's something that our friends on the Disney Parks podcast had discussed, that it takes them out of it. The wilderness explorers are there specifically to talk about Earth things that are real, tangible, kind of
I
scouts,
think
kind of
John
nature
said they
thing.
were trying to convince people that it is real.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not right. It should have been the ace people there, the actual space explorers there. When you cross that bridge from Tiffin's and you cross that bridge into Pandora, you're supposed to be transported to another world. And guess what? Wilderness Explorers in the Disney continuity is not there, even though I know that they're just cartoon characters made up from the movie Up. I know this, right? But still, it should be the people from Ace. They're taking you through all of the different things and talking about the story of conservation from the mindset of the movie, right? Which really, as Eric had alluded to, if you haven't seen Avatar, shame on you, because now it's what, the film came out in 2009. So
Wait a second. I just saw it the other day. So don't
Well,
shame
good.
on people.
I'm not going to
Don't
shame on you.
that.
You already saw it, so
just
you're
said,
not even a
you
part of
just
it.
said if you haven't seen it, shame on you. I'm not shaming on anybody who hasn't seen it.
Okay. I'm shaming.
I'm staying out of this one.
Well, Eric, you saw it. You saw it, so you know what's
Yeah.
up. But once again, I thought it was cool. Was it like absolutely mind blowing, earth shattering? What Joe Rody had said, it's unlike anything you've ever seen. No, not really. And maybe it is because I spent so much time, Eric, at D23. You go to these conventions, you sit in the panels, you watch and you listen to Imagineers talk about it, and their partnership with Lightstorm. Now, I don't know if it was a budgetary thing that they had just fell short.
I'm
Or
just throwing that out there,
it could
just
be.
as a possibility.
Well, right.
It's certainly within the realm of plausibility. There's also it's also plausible that, hey, we're holding off and going to expand once the new movies come out, and we can tie new stuff into it and give them something else. To me, both of those are realistic. Both of those are plausible. But unless you sit in on one of those high-level meetings, we're not going to know for sure either way.
Oh, sure. At the end, it's fun, but let me throw this other point out there. One of the things that Michael Eisner did was not give J.R. Rowling the autonomy, as he wanted to get Harry Potter into the to Walt Disney Parks, or the Disney Parks, as it were. He wanted to get Harry Potter there, but did not want to share. And this is urban legend, so I don't know how much truth there is to this. I haven't
Allegedly reported
that he did not want to have JK have complete yes factor into all of the decision making of the parks, right? So part of the reason why Universal received the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is because they were able to work with her and make sure that it was faithful to her vision of what it would be like for individuals to be transported to her world. And I'd say they did that pretty darn good. And the fact that in this particular case, now under Bob Iger working with James Cameron and his vision, the fact that it might fall short to the expectations of some Disney fans like Kristen and myself, who may have been sold a interesting, line from Joe Rody and others at Disney Parks because of their partnership with Lightstorm. Who's to say that the reason why it turned out the way it did is because of James Cameron? And that's literally what he wanted. And they worked and they try to be respectful of that and working with James Cameron, the creator of this world, this expansive area. And that's exactly what they did. And maybe it's Disney that's not necessarily to blame, although it's kind of hard to put all the blame on Cameron when they worked in partnership, and it is a Disney park after all. You know, do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, who, if it's not a matter of budget, if it's not a matter of holding out for other movies for a bigger, more expansive project, would the fault lie on Lightstorm? Would the fault lie on Disney, or is it a combination of both? And maybe the answer is somewhere in between.
I'm hesitant to use the word fault or blame, because yes, according to the D23 Expo comments and concept sketches and stuff like that, yeah, I can see where you say it falls a little short. But at the same time, I try not to put a lot of stock into the concept sketches and the comments, and the hype, because it's still very early on in the process. Until we see girders coming up from the ground, it's all fluid. Sure. And it is subject to change. So at the same time, I get what you're saying. I get where you're coming from. And me, I'm not one. I haven't gone to a D23 Expo. I'm not a D23 member, and I would guess Jeff isn't either. So we haven't seen and heard that coming directly from Joe Rohde's mouth. We've not been in the same room with him, and we haven't had the same exposure to the hype that y'all have. So I get where you're coming. Yeah, I get where you come from. I see the image that you're sharing, and yes, that does look a whole lot bigger. And what that tells me that's a final. That's like all phases. If we're going to go to phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, that's the end phase right there.
Yep.
So
it's interesting. It is interesting. And you're right, Eric. You're right. I mean, it may be unfair to say at this stage. Absolutely. I agree. And I don't want to make it seem like, and I can speak for myself, okay, that I am completely negative. I mean, I could tell you, hey, look, the attractions are great. But I can't help but feel a little disappointed. But that said, it's not like I didn't enjoy myself, because I did.
And I'm not trying to criticize, shame you, or anything like that.
Oh no, of course.
If that's your honest impression from it, then that's your honest impression with it. And you got to be honest, because nobody wants a fake Pollyanna.
Absolutely.
Well, and Disney doesn't pay us to do
yeah, there you go.
This, well, so we don't have to say anything nice.
Well, and you're absolutely correct, Eric and Kristen. You are both correct. And the fact of the matter is, Disney doesn't pay us for these comments. We paid to go on our own time. I took vacation time off just so we could experience this preview as annual pass holders. We were not part of the press corps that actually experienced that and the walkthrough with Joe Rohde. We have friends that were able to do that, and that's cool that they were able to do that. But
otherwise, I would have asked him about the size. Like, where's the rest of it?
Right. And for those of you that are watching the video feed, I am sharing some photography of what we were shown at the D23 convention, and you can see there to scale the people versus, and this comes from our friend Raphael's website, The Mouse. So you can see the people to the scale of the model that Kristen was referring to in this particular case. And
yeah, the people are tiny.
They're very tiny. And I understand that it is difficult to get a sense of scale from what we experienced to what ultimately was shown to us. There's another example of how it looks in the scale model and such. Look, it's definitely cool. But I experience for yourself and let us know. And maybe you completely agree with us, and maybe you disagree with us. And I would assume that when we have Jeff back here for a complete trip report, that he will describe his likes and dislikes if there are any. We can even bring Sorcerer in here from Sorcerer Radio and have him talk about it, because I think that would be a very interesting show for sure. But having said that, let's talk about the food. Can we talk about the food?
We can talk about the food.
Eric, would you like us to talk about food?
Talk about food. I've eaten dinner, so I shouldn't get hungry again.
So, Kristen, we were able to eat some of the food, and luckily for us, we were there with our friends Jason and Chris, and guess what? We were able to just about have everything on the menu, right?
That's true.
So, why don't you tell everybody about what you were able to capture there at Dining at Disney?
Okay, so let's first start with they have two locations. The first is a drink stand, Pangu Pangu, and then you also have your quick service, which is Satuli Canteen. And then you have the Ace Mobile Cart Treat, and it's got 3 frozen fruit bars there. So we won't even talk about that because there's really nothing to say about 3 frozen fruit bars. But Pangu Pangu is their drink stand. And I'm going to say, when Disney Parks Blog posted the menus, I thought those were just a sampling of some of the things that we would see on the menus for these places. That is pretty much the menus. Like, what they told us was pretty much everything. I mean, the menus are very, very limited. So Pangu Pangu, the drink stand, it has 2 drinks. One is the Night Blossom. It is a non-alcoholic drink. And then you have Moara Margarita. And that, of course, alcoholic. Then you have 2 draft beers there that are available. The Moara High Country Ale and what I had, which was the Hawks Grog Ale. It's a green drink. You can also get a bottle of water and a Pangu Lumpia. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it is like a dessert. This is a dessert spring roll. And inside it's got cream cheese and pineapple. It's crispy on the outside, not heavy, not thick like an egg roll, but like that real thin, crispy stuff like you get with the spring roll.
The spring roll, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought the drinks were good. If you're watching this online, you can actually see, because Aljon's pulling up all the photos. So you can see like the grog ale and the margarita. The margarita is topped off with boba.
Everything's got boba.
Everything is becoming boba. It's getting so popular. It's crazy to me.
And there's a lumpia that you were talking about. And lumpia, just so you know, is actually based on a Filipino dish. And the Filipino dish is basically a rice wrap vegetable roll. And this is definitely not that.
Yeah, not cooked.
Not cooked. So this is interesting, Eric. I think when you try this, you're going to love it, because there's nothing finer than pineapple cream cheese melty center and a nice crispy outside. You know, pretty yummy.
It looks that way.
Yeah, considering you're a big fan of pineapples.
Tasty. You get 2 of them too. It was good.
Oh,
I'd have it again.
Stuff.
What's that?
I'm fond of drinking stuff out of pineapples. Yes.
Yes. There you go. There you go. So that's good stuff. And there's that.
And then the quick service Satuli Canteen. You have 2 places that you can sit, either inside or outside. The nice thing about the outside areas is actually covered, so you're not going to get drenched or anything if it starts raining. It has a very earthy feel to it. I think it's nicely decorated. Inside, you can actually see them grilling the chicken. The menu here is very limited as well. You can enjoy Asian bowls, steamed pods, which are the bao buns. They have 2 desserts, and then you have alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. You've got, of course, all your Coke products, but there's specialty beers, craft beers, and specialty drinks as well that you can get. And so what we had done is we did the chopped wood grilled chicken bowl. We also had the slow roasted sliced grilled beef bowl. Now, the way that these Asian bowls work is they're create your own. So you have your choice of protein, which is either going to be slow roasted sliced grilled beef, chopped wood grilled chicken, sustainable fish fillet, or for those of you who are vegetarian, there is a chili spiced crispy fried tofu. Then you also get to choose your base, which is you have your choice of quinoa and vegetable salad, a red and sweet potato mash, the mixed whole grains and rice, or romaine and kale salad. And then you also have your choice of sauce that goes on it. And it's either charred onion chimichurri, black bean vinaigrette, or the creamy herb dressing. So we had done the whole grain with the chicken and the creamy herb dressing. Very good. We also had the slow roasted sliced beef, which was served over the red and sweet potatoes, and then topped with the charred onion chimichurri sauce. If you get the beef, I highly recommend doing a chimichurri sauce. They pair perfectly together. And then they have 2 options for the pods. You have either the cheeseburger or the other one is a vegetable curry. And we had the cheeseburger. This one is on the kids' menus. I think it's a great way for kids to get introduced to, steamed Asian food like this. But personally, I wasn't a fan. I prefer my Asian food to not be a fusion like this one is. It just didn't work for me. But I do know it has been very popular. I definitely next time will try the more traditional vegetable with curry.
Well, keep in mind too that you ordered the cheeseburger and not the other vegetable.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
And this is served with root vegetable chips. So if you like Terra chips, you'll like those. And then for dessert, we tried the chocolate cake, which really wasn't very cake-like to me. I thought it was much more like a mousse. If you like chocolate, then you definitely should give that a try. And for the drink there, we did the Dreamwalker sangria. And it is slightly blue. It's got a hint of blue curacao to it to give it that color. It's a white sangria. So if you're looking for something light and refreshing, and that's definitely, and you like sangrias, I would go with this one.
There's those drinks right there. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the food. That was good stuff.
I really liked the food. I thought the food was really good. Much better than most quick service because it's not your traditional cheeseburgers, chicken tenders, hot dogs, that kind of food. It's much more unique. I'll definitely be going back there and eating. I'm hoping as it's open longer that we do get some other kind of options other than either bowls or pods.
Well, Disney has been known to make those changes depending on how popular those food items are. As we know, they've oftentimes done that with Cars Land and the different menu items they've had over there on the West Coast. So we shall see what happens. Yes.
And the other cool thing is you do get real silverware.
Oh, hey, how about that?
You get real silverware.
That's a bonus, right? Real
it
silverware.
is.
Plus, I would imagine that as time goes on and as guests leave feedback with Disney, you'll see menu changes come up. Like, you may see chicken nuggets come up under some kind of.
I hope not.
I hope not. But
we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen, and I like the fact that this is unique, and I really hope they keep it. If anything, if they make changes, I only want to see things added to it. I don't want to see it changed to more blah, boring food that I can get anywhere.
I
at any
understand
American
that.
park.
I understand that, and I do not disagree with you. But if you've got 3 kids on a trip with you and ain't none of them touching a pod, and they want chicken nuggets and a hot dog, then you're going to tell Disney, hey, I want chicken nuggets and hot dogs in Pandora.
Well, for kids options, they have kids food.
Okay.
They do have kids food, but they don't have kids food for adults. Because
Okay.
of course, kids are, can be quite picky. Luckily, my parents said, you pick it up, you eat it. And, I luckily was an adventurous kid and it stuck with me rather than being
and
picky like my neighbor, who I always made fun of growing up because she ate chicken tenders, pizza, hot dogs, and hamburgers. That was it.
Well,
Nothing else.
The good news for those picky eaters is the fact that you're just a bridge away from chicken nuggets. So
Exactly, that's true.
That could
literally-
be our show title for tonight. A bridge away from chicken nuggets.
You're just a bridge away from chicken nuggets.
I totally get what you're saying. I mean, the running joke is you only have to take a look at me and say that, I'm not a picky eater. My first toy was a garbage disposal. So I will eat just about anything at least once. So I'm glad that they are branching out. They are being creative with it. And I'm glad that they do have more traditional, quote unquote, traditional kids offerings, because that's what I was worried about. But
I've got the kids menu. I've got to pull that up.
if you're a grown up and you want chicken nuggets, march your happy little grown up butt across the bridge.
That's right. That's right.
And then in
just
addition
remember,
to-
Pizza Fari's right across the way. You've got Starbucks.
Don't be knocking on my Pizza Fari.
Oh no, we like Pizza Fari. Hey, and everyone's favorite, Flame Tree Barbecue. So we're definitely not going to flame that. Go ahead.
So the kids have they can also get, there's like a kids version of the bowls. There is the cheeseburger steamed pod, a cheese quesadilla, and a hot dog.
There you go.
So
Well, there you go. Chicken nuggets
for
and
the
hot
kids.
dogs.
Perfect for the kids. Hey, the thing is about Pandora, the world of Avatar. I think you're right, Kristen. Was it Kristen or Eric? Maybe the both of you had mentioned the fact that if you hadn't been introduced to all the pomp and circumstance of this land, you may not be disappointed by it. And truth be told, we enjoyed ourselves, and a lot of people have. I will say this: if you're going this summer to experience Pandora, the world of Avatar, understand that you're going to have to get your fast passes as soon as possible, because there are 200-minute wait times out there, folks. That is a big chunk of your vacation lost. So planning is of the utmost importance when you go, and planning to be in that heat, planning to have the kids with you. You need to make sure you have a exit strategy just in case, because guess what? It's going to be hot. It's going to be, there are fans and misties out there, so you can try to stay cool, but you got to make sure the entire family's comfortable. Bring those little snacks and stuff with you. Bring those cool towels. Bring those misty fans with you, because it's going to be hot. There's going to be a lot of people. You're going to be waiting in line, and a lot of people don't realize how much line they're going to be experiencing, because it's going to be wrapped around and probably past the bridge, in a lot of circumstances, especially these next few months. Wouldn't you say? I would definitely think.
Oh, it's going to be crazy waits for a while.
Well, and remember this: when Cars Land opened and when Harry Potter opened at Universal, those lines were long for a long, long time, and we had experienced Gringotts over there at Universal when it opened over at the Diagon Alley, and it still was a very long wait, was it not, Kristen? We waited for a good 60 65 minutes, did we not, to ride that ride?
We waited 50, because
Okay,
that's
50
the most I'll wait. That's my breaking point. It's pushing it. Like, first time to ride something, I can do 50 minutes. Anything past that, like, it'll still be here. Like, no, even if it's new, I cannot wait that long. I don't have it in me to stand in a queue for 50 minutes. I'm, in that sense, Yeah, I can relate to the kids who are getting antsy in line. Like, come on, let's get on the ride. Let's go.
Right on. Any closing thoughts regarding Pandora, the world of Avatar, Eric?
No,
Nope.
I'm just
All right.
looking forward to when I make it down there in at least 5 years from now.
We'll keep our fingers crossed, Eric. Maybe we'll have to swing by your neck of the woods, pick you up, and take you and your son hostage, and you're going to have to come down to Disney with us.
I'll be on the side of the interstate, with a thumb and a duffel bag.
Kristen and yourself, any final words?
It's very pretty. The food is good. So if you are not an extremely picky eater, definitely try it because it's really delicious. I thought so. And I say take time to walk around and look at just the atmosphere that you're in because it is really beautiful and there is a lot to it. To look at different, plants that aren't, in this world. So I definitely think those are things you should take in. Be careful trying to ride flights of passage because there have been issues due to size and not just like people being overweight or the size of their calves for some people have been a problem, as well as height. You could possibly be too tall that your legs can't properly fit into the attraction and it can't lock you in. So
there is a test vehicle out front where people can.
Is it out now?
I believe so. I believe that's out. But we had a friend that's 6'5", something like that, 6'4".
I think Jason's he's either 6'3" or 6'4". I think
he's a pretty big guy, and he was able to ride the ride with us. However, some of our friends who are a lot smaller, 5'3", were not able to ride for some reason or another. So
a cast member said he might be too tall.
Yeah. So
I guess she did not pay attention when he walked in the room before he sat down.
Probably not. However, I believe that is something they are still working out. Your mileage may vary, but just be sure that you prepare ahead of time. And my thing is, we talked a lot about the attractions and things that are wonderful, that are great. Plan in advance, and while you're there at the Animal Kingdom at night, be sure to check it out at night because it is a different experience. And we only got a glimpse of it when we were there, but it is cool to see the forest come alive with that nighttime black light, as they say, bioluminescent feature, which is just a interesting way of saying that it glows under black light. Okay, so
glow with the show.
Glow with the show. Eric, where can
they did a good job of hiding a lot of the lights, though.
They did a very good job.
A lot of them are like in the plants. You don't really see the fact that there's a light there. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. So, Eric, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter at Uncle Servo and at Sorcom Review. Also, check out the Sorcom Review's Facebook page and hit me up in the Sorcerer Radio Disney Fun Zone there on Facebook.
Kristen.
You can find me at diningatdisney.com. On all social media, it's Dining at Disney. And you can also download on iTunes and stream on Stitcher the Dining at Disney podcast that I co-host with Bubba.
Right on. And Kristen and I are also on Sorcerer Radio on WDW Tiki Room Fridays. You can check us out 8 a.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. on the replay of that program at wdwtikiroom.com. You can check out all of our sister podcasts there. Subscribe to that show. Also, you can find me at JediMasketeer.com, where all of my social media are out there. If you like to follow me with Disney posts and also post about Marvel and Star Wars, much like Eric, we're totally uber geeky in that regard, so be sure to follow us for all of that. Once again, tell all of your friends to like, share, and subscribe to our program, WDW After Dark, on so many different platforms. We're on TuneIn, we're on Stitcher Radio, of course, iTunes and YouTube, and we would very much appreciate that you give us a thumbs up on this video. Give us a like, share, and subscribe on all of our podcasts and different platforms.
A review.
And we appreciate it.
On
And those
iTunes.
reviews, please review us on iTunes. Every little bit helps. And all of our affiliate links are also there. www.afterdark.com. In the meantime, on behalf of the crew, don't forget it's better after dark. Have fun in Pandora. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.